What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about this super interesting rumor that Lucid Motors is going to be partnering up with Apple in some form in the near future. So there are a lot of interesting aspects about these rumors that I have been able to dig up. So we're going to go over exactly what I think is going to happen between Lucid Motors and Apple going forward. And we're going to look at the share price of Cciv and figure out if it is going to be a good time to buy at the current time. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So coming over to the chart of Cciv, the SPAC that is going to be taking Lucid Motors public, we saw that on the date that the merger got confirmed, we saw a massive sell the news event. The stock went from the $60 range all the way into the high 20s, and we've just seen a massive sell-off out of Cciv over the last couple of weeks. Now, the main reason for this is that the overall market has had a lot of weakness. There's rising inflation fears, and the 10-year treasury yields are going up. So every hyper-growth stock, a lot of the SPACs as well, have been falling, just as we've seen with Cciv. Now, Lucid Motors is putting out some very aggressive estimates for how many cars they're going to be able to deliver in the near future and what their car is going to deliver to consumers. Now, I'm more speculative on this company. I'm going to wait and see on how they actually are able to do this. And if Lucid Motors ends up showing some promise, then I will consider investing in this company. But as you guys have seen with some of my past Lucid Motors videos, I was predicting a significant sell the news event once the merger was released because the stock had just run up so much. So I do not have a current position in Cciv at the current time, but I will definitely consider entering a position after the merger is complete. Now let's get into this Lucid Motors and Apple partnership rumor. So I want you guys to pay close attention to all of the points that I am going to bring up throughout the remainder of this video, because they are all going to tie together in one big circle, and we are going to be able to make a conclusion on if and when Lucid Motors and Apple are going to be having a partnership in any form. So coming over here, we can see the Lucid CEO and Chief Technology Officer did not name any names, but only described Lucid as the perfect platform for every large company from Silicon Valley that wants to prove its software for autonomous driving. Now, the CEO of Lucid Motors has a hard time keeping his mouth shut, as we saw when we were looking and speculating on this Cciv Lucid Motors partnership. The CEO of Lucid Motors kept smirking and smiling when he was asked about questions about Cciv. So he has a pretty good tell when he is asked questions about specific partnerships in the future, and is not very good at keeping things a secret. Coming down a bit further, we can see, and Lucid is full of former Apple employees and is being advised by others. Now, this sentence right here is very important, and it is something you need to keep in mind going forward throughout the rest of this video. Now, coming down here, Apple, on the other hand, is widely reported that the company is pursuing its electric car plans, which were first announced years ago. Now, we're going to get into that in a little bit later as well. So talks about a realization with Hyundai and Nissan are said to have failed recently due to brand issues at an early stage. In addition, according to the reports, it has not yet been decided whether Apple actually plans to build its own electric car or just supply software for it. Now, in my opinion, it makes a lot more sense for Apple just to create the software for electric vehicles and license it out to as many companies that would want it, versus actually building out a whole entire electric car company. By the time that Apple would be able to actually get their electric cars on the market, they would be so late, and they may not even be successful at it. It's going to cost them a lot more money in order to create an electric car, whereas they could just build the software for it and have super high margins on just licensing out the software to the different car companies, which I think is a more probable outcome. Now let's take a look at a different piece of news. So coming over here, we can see that the iPhone maker's automotive efforts, known as Project Titan, have proceeded unevenly since 2014. So this is an important date right here, 2014. Now something very important happened with Apple and an electric vehicle company in 2013. So coming over here, we can see that what stopped it from happening, we are talking about Apple made a secret offer to buy Tesla, and the deal fell apart for a truly stunning reason. So coming down a little bit further, again, what stopped the deal from happening, according to Craig Irwin of Roth Capital Partners, who was first interviewed on CNBC's Squawk Box and later followed up with the network via email, was that Apple wanted Elon Musk to step away, and that was a deal killer. And they said that Apple attempted this acquisition around 2013. So 2013, they try to buy Tesla. In 2014, they actually start trying to make their own electric vehicle company. It is now 2021, and we haven't really seen anything out of Apple in terms of an actual vehicle, which leads me to believe that they are only working on the technology to put in the vehicles and not the actual car themselves. Apple and Lucid Motors also have some other very interesting ties together that not a lot of people have been talking about. So coming over here, there's this guy, Johnny Ive. So some of you may not know who this is, but basically he joined Apple in September 1992, where he remained until his departure in early July 2019. Following several years of designing the interface aspects of Apple products, he was promoted to Senior Vice President of Industrial Design in the late 1990s after the return of co-founder Steve Jobs to the company and CDO in 2015. Working closely with Jobs during their tenure together at Apple, Ive played a vital role in the designs of the iMac, Power Mac G4 Cube, iPod, iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. So this guy has a lot of design expertise in Apple products. Now, what's important about this is coming over here, the operating partners of Churchill Capital for the SPAC that is taking Lucid Motors public. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see that Sir Johnny Ive sits on the board of CCIV. So Apple and Lucid Motors have a lot more ties together than people may have thought. Now, I've heard some speculation that Apple might try and come out and buy Lucid Motors for their technology. I don't think that is going to happen. We saw them attempt the acquisition of Tesla, and that failed miserably. I really do think that Apple is going to be creating their own tech and software to go into these electric vehicles, and it is possible that they also are an influential factor in the design of these vehicles. Now, we saw that Sir Johnny Ive is a design expert. We can see the different intricate designs in the design transformation of all of the Apple products through the years that this individual was a part of. I think it is very possible that since Lucid Motors has so many Apple employees, former Apple employees working for them right now, and that the designer of a lot of the Apple products sits on the board of the SPAC that is taking Lucid Motors public, that it is very possible that Lucid Motors and Apple have a partnership in the near future. Now, this relationship between Apple and Lucid Motors is very similar, in my opinion, to what we saw with the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund, Lucid Motors, and CCIV before. We saw that the head of CCIV and all of the Churchill Capital SPACs, Michael Klein, was an advisor to the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, and the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund owned a significant portion of Lucid Motors, which to me was the deciding factor in expecting CCIV and Lucid Motors to go public. Now, we are seeing something very similar to that happen at the current time, which is why I think that Lucid and Apple will be partnering up in some form in the near future. I also think that Apple is not going to be producing their own electric vehicle. I don't think it makes sense for their business model, and I think they would be better off creating the software. So in general, I'm still going to stay away, but keep a close eye on this Lucid Motors and CCIV merger and this Apple partnership. I need to see personally Lucid Motors actually start to sell vehicles and people actually driving them. We have not seen anything like that yet. We've just seen the cars in showrooms and the CEO's expectations for what the company will be able to do in the future. Now, nothing the CEO comes out and says about their future projections Vince really does anything for me. He's not going to come out and say, well, we're going to be a bad company and we're not going to sell cars. He's obviously going to come out and say, we're going to be the best car company that is out on the market. We're going to take over the electric vehicle space, and we're going to have a factory that produces 400,000 vehicles a year. They're just kind of talking right now, and we need to see action, in my opinion, in order to go deep into Lucid Motors. So that is going to be it for this update on CCIV, Lucid Motors, and this Apple partnership rumor. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys had a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.